if there's someone out there who's listening to this interview who's like a mini Spomer,
I hope you're not out there.
I guess what would you tell someone if they wanted to make a career in the bike industry? What skill set would be the most valuable to focus on developing? And just some of the examples that I had written down is like, writing, filming, photography, getting good at feeling a bike and testing stuff, on camera speaking, or just like being good at personal relationships and like eye contact and handshakes and things like that. What do you think?
All of that. Like if this was 15 years ago, I think it'd be way easier to give a little more succinct answer, but with the way people can make a living now, like you could be a professional TikToker, you could be a writer and just, write for a brand or for websites. Like, I don't know if you could actually make a living doing that only, but
like what skill set do you value the most when looking at a new hire for a company like Vital?
spelling and grammar, like not even kidding, just because even though it's a website, internet, you can go back and edit and fix things. And I made a hilarious mistake yesterday. I said, view our YouTube channel, ARE, instead of our, and I just got reamed for it. I was just in a daze typing and like, I made that mistake. It happens, we all make mistakes, but there's just a level of professionalism that's shown when you have solid writing skills, spelling, grammar. And I personally enjoy conversational nature of writing. When I hear someone's voice and they're writing, when they're not trying to market the bike, like, this bike was great. It sent me into the ether and it's a dream come true. Like, that doesn't do a lot for a product review.
I agree.
I don't know. Like, it's, the skill sets are so different, and the stuff I do on a daily basis and a lot of our staff does on a daily basis is computer work and being at a desk. It's not like we're going out to ride the coolest bikes and we're filming all the time. It's awesome. Like, it takes a lot of work to do the processing. And this now, look at this setup. Like, it took you forever to get it set up. And so I never set out with the goal of having this be a career. It just kind of happened naturally. And I was fortunate enough to have friends and support. But just like, if you like something and want to do it, just keep grinding it out. It took a lot of grinding out. It took a lot of being underpaid at times. And I think with anyone that's still in this industry, they started out that way. Like, you don't, hey, I'm a photographer, it's my first gig, can I get $15,000? It's probably not going to happen. Like, you have to make the relationships, you have to spend the time, you have to have the experience. And so I think that level of patience is probably part of it too. So
yeah, I think a lot about, basically a younger me, and those kids that are like, I just want to be a part of it. I want to be in it. I want to be a part of it. What do I do? And I don't know. It's tough because, the answer is basically just try everything and fail at most of it.
For sure.
And then
failure.
like get good enough to figure out how to use Photoshop a little bit and get good enough to know how to write, and then try to figure out how social media works a little bit. But
yeah,
it's tough because I wish there was a better answer. Like when I get a lot of times parents will email me and say, hey, my kid, 16 years old, all they want to do is be in the bike industry. They want to go to college. What course should they study, or what, like, dude, it's so hard. Cause the most important thing in my opinion is like handshake and eye contact and going to the trade shows or to the races.
Being present. Yeah.
Yeah. Just being there.
Yeah. And I think it's cool. Parents are reaching out on their kids' behalf.
But the kids should be reaching out.
Yeah. I think that's important. Yeah. And like, I reached out to, Eric at Cycle Syndicate and met some lifelong friends through that. I reached out to Brad because someone said, hey, they're doing this. Like, I think it's just that initiative. And I could stack to the roof all the emails I've sent that have received no answer, but if you want it, go ask. What's the worst going to happen? Say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Weir, he was one of the guys that kind of helped me quite a bit when I was younger. And, he said, when it comes to working with companies or emailing people, if they say no, that doesn't mean no. That means you got to find a new way to package it, ask again. So it's like, hey, will you give me $5,000? No. Well, what if I do this, this, and this? No. Okay. Well, what if I do this? Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that.
Yeah,
like, we'll comp your travel.
Yeah, totally.
Like, will you send me to Mega Avalanche? Yeah, we can do that. So there's always a way to ask, but yeah, it's very difficult when you're working in a small niche industry, because basically everyone gets asked to wear so many hats. And even, from this side as being like a creator now, or, racer, it's like train, try to get fast, get fit, work on racing, send sponsor emails, negotiate your contracts, and then also do product development and feedback, try to understand how things work, learn a little bit of the basics of engineering, and then also like travel and booking and all
Yeah.
that. But yeah, for kids, I feel like a good example, this was another one I wanted to ask was, a good example of this is this kid, Brian Cahall, you know?
Brian Cale. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing the Let's Go Racing series.
Yeah,
Crushing it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like a few years ago, Pink Bike did a series called The Privateer where they took a non-sponsored pro rider named Adam and they put him through a training program and got him sponsored from different companies. And basically they set out to see if his results would change with like a pro program. And then, last year you guys kind of started something kind of similar called Let's Go Racing. And with Brian, who's a buddy of mine from NorCal, how did that come about? And like, what's your vision for that series? And was that spearheaded by Brian reaching out?
That was 100% Brian. It's like, hey, I want to do this. Are you guys down? Talked a little bit more. Yep, go for it. It's all him, completely hands off. And there's an example. Like if an up and coming kid wants to be in the industry, just do your stuff, make your content, pitch an idea. If no one buys it, make it anyway and put it out somewhere. That's what Brian did. That's what a lot of our content comes that way. People pitch the idea. It's their idea. It's their vision. Like, yeah, sure. Or, well, it doesn't really fit with what we do. But yeah, that was all Brian's thing. And so we did it last year. And it went okay. And, he and I talked a little bit, and the focus on kind of the product and the gear is what he's done this year. That's been a bigger hit. I think there's
For sure.
more of an interest in it. And he's done weird things like running a different front and rear wheel, trying all the different suspension and stuff and documenting how those experiences have gone for him. So
Yeah, for people that haven't seen it, there's a few episodes he's done this year where he'll basically try 5 different suspension forks.
Yep.
And throughout the video, he'll say, hey, I'm going to try these 5 forks, like Oleans, RockShox, Fox, all that. I'm not sure which one's best, but this is unbiased and I just want to have the best bike to go racing this year. So then he sorts through it and figures out which one is best for him. So it's cool reading the comments. Like those videos are 30 to 35,000 views on a lot of them now. And reading the comments, that's one of those things where, yeah, it's not a 1 million view video, but how many products did that convert or sell or help people understand their product better? I think that's one of those things that's like such a good positive impact on the industry that you might not correlate and be like, oh, well, it didn't get 100,000 views. It's like,
but yeah, the discussions are
keep
great.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the feedback from the people that do comment, like, oh, you had this experience with that fork. That's crazy. Mine was this way. And so there's discussion back and forth that gets brought up, and I think it's informative for anyone. You watch the video or you can go into the comments to learn. So,
yeah. We've been trying to push brands that we work with, especially to like really take some time and read through the comments and we'll screenshot some and send them to them. But it's very interesting because you get such an, unfiltered, unbiased, honest opinion.
For sure.
And I think sometimes brands need that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, I had a good one with a company we're working with the other day in protection space. And like, I was scared to send the email because I was like, this might go bad, like this.
Really?
Yeah. This is prototype product. It's not working well. This might not be good. And, I sent it anyways. And the guy's like, dude, thank you. We never get feedback like that. It's so helpful. Like we're going to make these changes. And so it's hard.
That's
I feel
cool.
like brands don't get that a lot.
Yeah. And they need it for that reason. Some might take offense. Like, hey, I've worked on this for 3 years. How can you not like it? But if they're receptive, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I told April, I'm like, fingers crossed, click send.